The Earley Show will begin after a brief word from today's sponsor, Answering Legal. Visit answeringlegal.com to learn more about our 24/7 virtual receptionist team.
Answering Legal has been absolutely beneficial to my practice. Not only do they answer the phone 24 hours a day with a live receptionist, they qualify prospective clients that are calling in to get information, providing the benefits of a dedicated receptionist at a fraction of the cost, as well as reinforces our commitment to responsiveness and care. We've been using Answering Legal for a few years now, and I highly recommend Answering Legal to any large size or even small boutique law firm such as mine.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Earley Show, sponsored by our friends over at Answering Legal. I'm your host, Chris Earley. I'm an injury lawyer in Massachusetts, and as always, on each and every podcast episode of the Earley Show, we bring you the best and brightest in the legal industry. And I'm really excited because today we have Gary Sarner, who is not a lawyer, and frankly, I learn more from non-lawyers than I do lawyers, so I'm really excited to geek out with Gary. He's a guy who's at every conference, has the best sartorial choices of anyone in these conference halls with his great flamboyant shirts, which I love, which are so smart to wear. So we're going to learn a lot from Gary. Excited to have you on today, Gary. How are you today, man? Welcome.
Well, first, it's great to see you, Chris. And I left you last week in Chicago, and it's an honor to be on with you. You are somebody that I have followed since I opened up my radio advocacy 4.5 years ago. And our friendship means a lot to me. And what I learned from you and your authenticity and video on LinkedIn and just being a great person and a great dad.
It's a two-way street here, right back at you, like legit. So I appreciate your time. I'm excited that you and I are sitting down. So people predominantly know you as, radio, but there's so much more to you as a person. Could you just go back in time a little bit, just introduce us, growing up, brothers and sisters, how you were influenced by your parents and sort of your start that led you to where you are now?
So, yes, born in New York, raised in Atlanta, which was a very large culture shock in the 70s. My father, like me, was a workaholic. He was never around, built a very large consumer electronics business, advertising in the newspaper, and all over the radio, which is where I fell in love with radio. I have a sister who is the musician for children all over South Florida. And, I'm very blessed with 4 amazing kids, a couple ex-wives. And my partner today, Aleda, is just magical because without her, I don't think I ever could have built the business that I am so grateful to have been able to build.
What about mom? What did she do?
Mom?
Yeah.
Mom's trade was an interior decorator, but more of a stay-at-home mom. Took us to all of our events, did everything, because my dad always worked. He was never home on the weekends because he was in retail. And when he sold his business and I had to decide what I was going to do because he told me I had to go get a job, I called one of his dearest friends who ran a radio station. And I said, Mark, what exactly do you do that you don't work on weekends? Because I played basketball at his house on the weekends. And asked me what my favorite radio station was. And I was fortunate enough to get a sales position there back in 1987 when I was 20 years old.
Okay. So you started to cut your teeth in radio.
My entire career has been in radio and sports.
Oh, okay. I had that's a long run. Well, obviously you're only 30, so that's not a very, just 10 years, but
I think I'm old enough to be your dad.
I'm not far behind you, trust me. So why did you, so let me ask you, I'm more interested in this for 1 second. Your dad, did you guys have or do you have a relationship, or was it not there because he was never there?
No, we did. We absolutely did. It's a crazy, sad story.
Mhm.
My father got the 9th pacemaker ever put into a human body in 1971. The government did it at NYU Hospital, I believe. My father went through so many heart surgeries, beat cancer twice, but COVID killed him.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Second wave, August of 21. We're coming on 4 years a week from today.
I'm so sorry. That's so hard.
That was when nobody was allowed in the hospitals. So he spent 28 days in a hospital bed. And my son's friend from college, she was helping in the hospital. So we got pictures because he really couldn't use FaceTime. But yeah,
That's tough.
yeah, definitely.
So you consider yourself a workaholic?
I have always been. It gets passed down
Sure.
to be a provider.
Sure.
Your role is to be a provider. And, I've been married twice. So I have my oldest with my first wife, and then I have my 3 youngest with my ex. And she asked me to make a promise to her that I would keep our kids in Jewish day school no matter what. And I agreed and believed in it. But was it a struggle as a radio salesman? Hell yes.
Yeah.
Private school's not inexpensive.
You put them.
We put all 3 through private school.
That's
It was
really
a struggle.
I'm sure, man. Because you were paid on commission, right? Kind of
Paid on commission, did very well, but it's different when you work for somebody else and you work for yourself.
Well, it's the difference between you signing checks and someone signing your check for you, right? And one of those deals, you're just, eat what you kill, frankly. And that's a massive, massive motivator.
And you can as well in sales, but it's limited by the amount of inventory you have and the number of salespeople. And it's just a different world. I'm so grateful that I get to do what I love at ROI 360 Plus, but I don't have to answer to anybody. I get to work with the people that I love, my partners in the law firms, and the people that I love at the radio stations across America. And today we're in 38 markets across the country, from Anchorage, Alaska to New York, down to Miami, across to Phoenix, and all in between.
Let me ask you this. If you could simplify this for me, are you today kind of a liaison between the consumer and the radio station?
They're not going to like what I'm about to say.
Let it rip.
But when an advertiser or a potential advertiser calls a radio, TV station, billboard company, they are going to sell you the inventory they need to move. When somebody works with me or one of the other great agencies out there that work in the legal field, we know what to purchase to drive traffic to your website. I would love to say to make your phone ring, but nobody remembers phone numbers anymore.
So you hold people's hand, right? You hold, are you just in the legal space, or are you helping others?
We do work with one car dealer, happens to be somebody that I worked with in Florida who moved to another market. Dear friend, I do help them. But our business is a legal marketing agency. And it's funny, a friend of ours, Chris Dreyer, and Joe Freed really helped me in niching down and changing the name of the agency, which I started as ROI 360 Plus. And I was sitting with Joe, who's a friend of mine since we were in high school.
Really?
Yes.
Joe was on my podcast. I just saw him last week in Chicago. Wow. Okay. That's crazy.
So we know each other since we're 13 years old. I asked Joe how he became the trucking expert. And I'm not going to get in and tell Joe's story, But Joe said to me, he says, Gary, look around this conference. The people that are like you are in the TV space, and they are in the billboard space, and they're in digital. Nobody knows radio like you do. You are an expert in radio. Use it. And the next day, change the name, ROI 360 Plus, the radio experts.
Wonderful. I love it. Joe was on the podcast. It was so much content, we cut it up into 2 parts. And I'm super grateful to Chris Dreyer. He's hosting PimCon, which will be in a couple of months. You and I will be there. I'll be speaking there. Excited for that. So I appreciate Chris Dreyer for giving me the opportunity to speak. I appreciate Joe Fried. I'm working on a big case with Joe right now. And Joe's a really good B2B marketer, because that's really, what he has, cut his teeth doing, marketing to other lawyers. And so I really think people should learn from Joe in terms of what he's doing. But anyway, we digress. It's such a small world.
By the way, since we're on a Joe kick, I will say this. He is one of the best lawyers in the United States.
No question.
He's a better human being than he is a lawyer.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I had lunch with him in Miami. You know him decades more than me, but I'm very grateful that I know him now, that we're friends. So anyway, the world gets smaller and smaller as I get older, right? So, all right, so he looked around that conference and he found something, and you see, this is a lesson for the listener. You didn't just think about it, you executed, you took action, and okay, ROI 360 Plus, that's what I'm doing. So that's hard, right? But you have decades of experience, but still, now it's, this is your company, you got to get business. You go to all these conferences, I see you, you're always, you have a warm energy about you, right? And you have a good, you have high social intelligence. Let me ask you, as a non-lawyer, this interests me, what's your biggest, if you could share, what's your biggest challenge in working with lawyers? What don't lawyers get that you wish you could just shake them and say, please understand this? What could lawyers get better at with marketing themselves, advertising, or whatever you see?
So it's interesting, because the conversations are different with every lawyer, every law firm, every operator. Some have COOs, some have marketing directors. So each law firm is unique to itself. I find that people who are open to listening versus speaking tend to do better at what they're doing. But if, look, I'm going to throw this back at you based on what we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You got a case that obviously was a trucking case. You run a very successful law firm. You have grinded and grinded to grow to be this successful law practice. Yet you had a case where you were willing to say, I need help.
Totally.
And the help is not about you, about your client. So the first thing I always say to anybody that I speak with, my why is not the law firm. My why is your potential client. Now, my partner base, law firms, looks different today than it did 4.5 years ago. Probably similar to your client base when you started to where it is today. There are cases you won't take today that you would have taken day one.
That's right. That's right.
There are law firms today that I probably wouldn't work with, but would help them. I have a great example. I'm not going to say who it is, but somebody heard me on one of the podcasts, reached out to me on Instagram, love to have a chat with you. Awesome, let's talk. We spent an hour on a Zoom. And I said to him, there's going to be a point in your career where we could partner together. But today, you need a coach. You need Chad Dudley to help you with your practice. And guess what? They've been working together now for over 2 years. I get thank yous all the time. He is growing like wildfire. And eventually, we will work together when it's right for him. See, a lot of lawyers don't understand, back to what you were asking before. Let's say you go settle a case for $10 million, and your fee on that $10 million is $4 million. That's a big fee.
Oh yeah.
You can do a lot of things with that. And what I see around the country is a lot of young lawyers go hit that big one, and then they go market on their own. They'll buy a little radio, they'll buy a little TV, they'll buy a little bit of billboards, and then all of a sudden, it's not working because there was no strategy. And I call them the ankle biters, because in every market, wherever we are, we have competition coming up against the firms that we work with that come on, and then they go away. The most interesting person in all of the personal injury law practices is probably John Morgan.
How come?
Because if you were to go up to John Morgan and say, man, how'd you do this? He'll give you his playbook.
I
Here
know.
you go, Chris.
I know.
Duplicate it.
Yeah.
And like I say to the people that we have the opportunity to have conversations with, forget work with, just a conversation. If you get into marketing your law firm, you want to be like all these other law firms that have been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years. You know what they did? They stepped on the gas and they never took their foot off of it. But it's hard to project 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Because the cash, by the way, you're in the only business, and I'm going to challenge you to tell me another one, where you can invest, just going to make it easy, $1 million to $100,000 a month in marketing, and you're not going to get paid back for on average 14 months.
If we just go back to John Morgan for a second, as my listeners know, he was our first guest on this podcast. I've broken bread with him. He's been very generous to me. Why he's successful is because he's a giver. There's a million other reasons, but I think it comes down to giving. And I, in my incredibly small way, try to give because I'm convinced that my life gets better when I give. Like, you're a giver. You didn't take that guy's money, that lawyer. You said, no, you need to go to that person first. And what's going to happen? He's going back to you at some point. It could be tomorrow or 2.5 years, but he's going to be writing you checks. And you didn't chase money from him. You chased purpose and helping him. And it would be unavoidable for you and he not to work together. But see, it's easy to dream and to, like you said, Joe Fried, ideas, but if you don't execute, right? The executors are successful. That's why I share my stuff, Gary, on LinkedIn. I share my stuff on stage with everyone because I've learned from the John Morgans, you have to share your stuff. So you and I talked for an hour once. You didn't make $1 from that. I've never paid you anything. And you talking about radio and you weren't looking for anything. People who give get further ahead than cheap people who don't give. I'm convinced of it. Sorry, I just had to get that out there.
Well, doesn't that happen as we get some wisdom with age?
Totally.
And we learn from every mistake that we make.
Yes, you get better, man.
There are people who are afraid to make the mistakes. I'm going to challenge you. Don't be afraid.
No.
Go for it.
No, absolutely not.
Most people fail far more than they succeed.
Yes.
But it only takes one time to hit the big one.
I like it. I love that. I bet you're like part psychologist because you have these clients who are investing massive amounts of money. It's like, Gary, I'm 2 weeks in. I haven't gotten a case. My 7-figure case hasn't come in yet. So I imagine there's some therapy on your part,
Day 2, not 2 weeks. Day 2.
That's too much.
It's funny. You hit something that I talk about all the time. Marketing doesn't happen in days, weeks, or months.
It takes forever.
It takes years to build a brand. So I tell people, the moment you write a check for 6 figures, For something that's not coming back to you, it's real.
Oh, yeah. Really, really.
In conversation, it hasn't happened. But as soon as that check is written, or a lot of guys want the Amex points, so the bill gets paid with the Amex, then the bill comes 30 days later, and then, wait a minute.
Yep.
And everybody wants an ROI. And this is probably the hardest part of what we do in today's world. You could market on the radio, you could market on TV, you could market on billboards, you could market on buses, you could all over the place. But the clients that are coming to the law firm, the last touch is Google. For now,
Right.
ChatGPT is very important today, but attribution for a law firm is hard to figure out.
For sure.
An intake's job, their job is not to find out where the client came from. They are there to be compassionate, because do you know what the hardest phone call type of business to call in the United States is? A lawyer. Because what is the perception of a lawyer?
You're gonna screw me over. I'm intimidated. I don't feel comfortable.
And they're expensive.
Mm.
You guys use this word contingency. I would venture a guess that 50% of your clients can't spell contingency.
I know I can, so I hear No, I hear you, man. It's valid. We gotta think about these things. Gotta zoom away.
Your business is changing drastically.
What do you
before
see?
our eyes.
What are you seeing out there?
Well, we've got AI,
Yeah.
which is playing a huge part. We're seeing people losing their jobs, being replaced by AI, virtual assistants outside of the United States because of this cost savings. Operating a business is not easy. Look, you started early, no pun intended. Call early before it's too late.
Thank you, baby.
But for somebody who worked for somebody for 37 years
Yeah.
to open up a business and all of a sudden got to be responsible for everything.
Yeah.
Lawyers come out of law school trained to be an attorney, and
Yeah.
not well, but there's no business acumen.
Nothing. Not one shred.
Yeah, and
Sam.
nobody here knows this, but you do. My son's sitting next to me, who just graduated UF Law,
Fantastic.
but he got his undergraduate degree in business.
Oh, that's smart, man.
And he was very intentional about that. He's going to work for a fabulous law firm. But, my hope is one day he's going to have his own practice with his sister. And hopefully they don't call it Sarner and Sarner. Because, and I think we're going to see that go away also. People's names on firms.
Why? Why do you think that? First of all, congrats to your kids. You must be so freaking proud. That's success, man. That's success.
I am. I'm very proud of all of them.
What are your other two?
My oldest daughter lives in New York. She works for a company called Insight Global. She's been there since she graduated college for 10 years.
Wow.
Very successful, bright, beautiful, wonderful young woman. And my baby might be in your city next year.
Oh, nice. Love it.
She just applied to Harvard Dental School.
Holy smokes. You're not messing around.
No, they didn't
mess around.
They didn't mess around. I did. I did.
Oh, well, good job, Dad. Legit. For real. Good job. That's awesome, man.
But I think that we're going to see more of the business models, especially with consolidation happening in the legal space.
Yeah.
Brand names are going to be, look at Top Dog Law. Look at what James did. Crazy commercials, wild videos, very targeted audience,
Yeah.
and he's built an absolutely amazing business. And I was very fortunate to be with him from the ground floor up for 2 years.
Yeah, I knew that. Let me ask you this. Why is he killing it? What is it about him that's so different? Why isn't everyone crushing it like that? What do you see in him? Is it just disruption? What do you think?
So back to what we were talking about before, and I'm going to tell the story real quick, the short version. I met him on Instagram. I reached out. He finally responded to me. We had a conversation, and then he ghosted me for 3 weeks. Phone rings one day. James home. I'm like, hey, wow, you're alive. He's like, your clients are stupid. I'm like, tell me why. He goes, that shit you buy is expensive. I'm like, James, I could settle your $5 million case for 500 grand. He goes, no. I said, well, that's why you should let me go buy the media, because I understand it. I
Yeah,
don't know how to make a $5 million case a $5 million case.
yeah, yeah.
And he granted me the opportunity. We started in Philadelphia, and then we grew to 29 markets across the country, intentional, with great messaging. And look, some people are offended by his messaging. The point of advertising is to get somebody to reach out to you.
Attention. Yeah.
What a lot of people don't look at, and this is something I've learned now over 4.5 years working with so many different firms. I'm sure you've seen me post this on many, many different law firms' posts, whether it be on Insta, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Great legal work still matters. Acquiring the client is one thing, but if you don't do great legal work, you can't continue to advertise because your fees are going to come down and
Sure.
down and down and
Sure.
down.
Sure. Yeah, that's right.
So looking in the mirror, law firms, is hard sometimes. Everybody wants to have a 50, 60, $70,000 average fee. Not everybody's capable of doing it.
For sure. Let me ask you this. So, you go, as I said, all these conferences, and I see you at a lot of them. If I'm at a conference, you're going to be there, talking to someone, right? Socializing, being positive, good vibe, good energy, right? Welcoming. As I explained to you face to face when we talked in Chicago, I said, when I walked into this venue yesterday and you said, welcome to Chicago, it made me feel good. I just got off a plane from Boston, never been to Chicago. And I was like, thanks, man. It's a nice welcome to Chicago. It made me feel good. So I appreciated that. And I shared that with you. I just want to share it with the audience. Marketing is about authenticity. Okay, because frankly, I feel like lawyers are so boring. It's like, can't be myself. I gave you a copy of my book. Like I'm so freaking out there. It's ridiculous. Authentic is natural to me, and it's comfortable for me. Do you have trouble with your clients, or do they oppose authentic marketing? Right, because the consumer, who's again the hero of the story, it's not the lawyer, it's not your client, it's the end user who's the hero. Do you have any trouble with lawyers embracing authentic marketing that you work with? What do you see with that?
So we all have a different approach
Yeah,
on my side of the business.
yeah,
I have written 1,500 of the worst radio commercials that you've ever heard. But in your space, I tell everybody you need to be intentional and authentic to your brand. You can't be somebody else's brand, because inevitably we all have seen or heard a ton of billboards, radio spots, TV spots. Say, I want to be like that one. Well, you're not them. You
mm,
can't be that.
nope,
Can it give ideas looking at other people's commercials, hearing them? Sure. But at the end of the day, I like to get a creative director with our partner. We do a Zoom. They understand the website. They understand the human, not the lawyer, the human, to then have to write radio copy for somebody else. It comes to Chris. You read it and you look at it and you're like, those aren't my words. So some edits. So it becomes your own. And then I say to our partners who generally don't love what they hear, you already know who to call. The audience needs to understand who you are, what you do, and why you want to help them.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what you do. You help people
Yes.
in their hardest time.
Yep.
Because watch this. Let's take somebody who's earning less than 40, 50,000 a year. They have a car. They were in a car accident and the car's not drivable. They're not like you and me where they could go get another car tomorrow.
Oh, it's devastating.
Devastating. And all they want when they call the law firm is somebody that's going to help them. That's why I have conversations. I don't want to use the word arguments about sympathy and empathy. It's compassion. If the people who answer the calls are compassionate, more people will sign up. More people will. They made the call. They wanted you. I'm sure you've made a bunch of calls over your career to people who didn't sign up with your firm. Find out why. I've lost business. I want to know why. Because that's the only way I get better. It's the only way my team gets better. We learn from our losses, maybe more than we do from our wins.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
We become better people from the losses that we've had. And some can be very devastating.
Mm-hmm.
Some aren't. But your personal life and your business life, they do connect. So you could be better at both.
Yeah, I think the lawyer who connects has emotional intelligence. Their website doesn't have the scales of justice, arms crossed, looking mean and scary. It's the lawyer laughing and, just like being a human being, not just as a lawyer. Like, this is table stakes stuff. It's not that hard, people. You just kind of like be a normal person. Anyway, so, we were talking earlier about spending big bucks and not getting instant return. I'm very heavy on billboards. I put my toe in the water and I went deeper and deeper. I worked my slogan, call it early before it's too late. That's my thing, right? When you see me at a conference, I'm wearing blue. I'm wearing my blue shirt right now. For the guy or gal that wants to get into radio, which is expensive, they're determined. But how do they enter that if they're going to wait 5 more years? I mean, what if money's tight? You're a brand new lawyer. You just hung a shingle. Money's tight. I literally walk and talk like I've been that guy. It was yesterday.
We had this conversation.
Yes, but for the audience, right? You just hung a shingle, right? How would you start to brand, Gary? Like, what would you do? Because a lot of the stuff is free. Oh, wait, you can't afford radio, can't put your foot in that water? Cool. You can post LinkedIn for free. There's a lot of stuff. Talk to us about what you can do to get that branding started.
So anybody who is a young lawyer and is going to hang their shingle. Your shingle is your website. Number one, you must have a website. And there are so many tremendous website firms in the legal space that you could work with. And if you reach out to me or Chris, either one of us, we know them all to help you. But that's number one. But what's really most important is take your 5-mile radius from your office and get involved in anything and everything that you could be involved with that your time will permit. Interesting, my mentor, when I hung my shingle, and I was talking to him and I said, I think I'm ready to hire somebody. He's like, are you working 18 hours a day? Can you really look in the mirror and say you're working 18 hours a day? Because the moment you hire somebody, that's money out of your pocket.
Yes.
I waited another 6 months and I worked 18 hours a day. Now, everybody knows that I'm not the guy that sleeps. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning. and I'm pounding on social media and doing my emails. And so I could do this in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
But that local community is the lifeblood of a new firm. You will be able to attest to this because you've got many, many years now. You've had many $1 million verdicts, settlements over the course of your career, but you've had thousands of 1020s, 2550s, right?
Yeah, that's where my action's been. Yeah.
If you treat that 10, 20, 25, 50 exactly the same as the $1 million client, and then you were to go into your CRM system, whatever you use, and see where the referrals came from, they come from the 1020s that were treated like human beings, like they were cared for. And I think there's a lot of people out there. Everybody wants that $1 million case. But you know where that $1 million case is probably coming from? A friend of that 10, 20,
Oh, for
25.
sure. Oh, they're not going to Google. 100%.
So now watch this. This is about referrals, right? So let's say you're a marketing lawyer, radio, TV, billboard, doesn't matter. And I'm your client, Chris. I came to you because of a billboard.
Yeah.
And I send you my friend Joe a $1 million case. When you put it into your system, where does the credit go?
For our client.
Referral?
Yeah.
Do you put it towards billboards too?
We can only pick one, right? I mean,
No. Why do you have to pick one? You got me from the billboard. You got Joe from me. Without the billboard, without the marketing, you never got Joe or Gary.
yeah. Yeah.
So I think people mislabel referrals because it came from an existing client. You got to go back to the original source because your marketing pays off for years and years and years if you treat your customer base
Right.
well.
Right. Because your cost of acquisition drops, right? Because it gets cheaper and cheaper to acquire a client. These referrals, you may spend $2,000, say, to get a client. That client refers you. You know, look. What I'm thinking about during our conversation today, Gary, is the long game. You know, for the person writing those checks, they're just starting radio. It's not a 2-week thing. It's a 20 or 40-year thing. The long game. And you put a billboard up. It's not like, oh, let's see what happens. Like, it's crickets. It can be. I've had crickets for months and months and months with mass media advertising. This branding, but then it's a slow moving. I have to call it like a tsunami almost, because there's such force and force and force. You keep feeding it with activity. We talk about John Morgan, just having the vision to dream about something and building his brand. Look, as I get older, I'm 48. As I get older, I realize that I think it helps to have a little bit of luck. Like, I'm not here today without luck. And I wrote a book about it. Like, I've had luck. So like, it helps to have some luck. But if you can like open up some opportunities to be lucky, but the lawyer who plays the long game, like, lawyers are super impatient, Gary. And I know that's why I said you're like a part-time therapist, I bet, full-time therapist. Because it's like, oh, I'm writing all these checks. Like, yeah, it's hard as shit to write those checks and put those charges on your credit card. It's scary, but you're building. You have to think about the long view. The John client, whoever it is that was, referring you, you should better send him a thank you card immediately. Handwritten thank you card, like the little stuff that costs 60 cents to do, but he really appreciate the referral, and then you're going to get more. Like, identifying those good referral sources. But I'm with you that if you can really dig deep into the minutia of attribution and say John or whoever came from an LSA ad, it's like, okay, now I can see. But I think, was it Henry Ford who said, I know half of my marketing is working, I just don't know which half. And lawyers don't like that. That causes agitation. It's not a good thing.
I'm going to tell you an interesting LSA story. Again, not mentioning parties involved. But one of our partners says to us, man, I don't know about this radio. I got 150 LSA cases this month. I said, that's amazing. He said, I want you to pick 15 of them, random. And I want you to call them. I was like, what do you want me to say to them? I said, well, first, thank them for hiring your firm, because they hired you, but they never get to speak to you.
Right.
Number two, make sure that their treatment and the communication has been great with the firm and their doctors. And then number 3, say to them, I know you got to me via Google. I know that for a fact. I'm just curious, have you ever heard or seen my firm prior to clicking on the firm's name on Google? Calls me back at the end of the day. He says, 9 of them said, I can't get away from you on the radio. 3 of them said TV. I said, were they Hispanic? He's like, yeah. I said, okay, because you're only on Spanish TV. And 3 said billboards. I said, so at the end of the day, 10% random people you called all had seen or heard you prior to going to Google. And oh, they're lazy. Watch this. Do you do pay-per-click?
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but you did it.
Yes, many years.
Did you ever notice that your clients, your current clients, were clicking on your pay-per-click and calling you?
Oh, yes, for sure.
Did that cost you
Totally.
to have them call the firm to speak to the lawyer?
Yeah. You already got the case, yeah.
Because people don't, back to the phone numbers. They don't remember numbers. They're not loading it into their phone. So they go to Google and they click on a paid ad to call, hey, what's going on with my case? Even though the case manager called them 3 days before.
Yeah.
The attribution is hard to get to where it all came from.
Oh, yeah.
And time, radio, TV, billboards, I don't care which. If you own it, you will succeed with it. And if you have great employees that are compassionate and then sign the case up, and then you have great case managers and lawyers, paralegals that do great legal work to get them a result. Think about this. You ever look at other law firms' reviews?
Yeah.
Would you say that it's safe to say that other law firms and your law firm's bad reviews are never about a result, but more about communication?
Yeah, for sure. How they felt.
How they felt. Because you would love to get everybody $10 million,
Yeah.
but you're limited by what's out there.
Yep.
And then through communication with your client, they understand it, that they can't get $1 million. Look, you look at billboards all over every city in America. There's one lawyer that's who, I got my client $650,000. I don't want to know anybody that's had those injuries to get that kind of recovery.
For sure.
But that's what they see, and that's what they expect until you educate them.
Yeah.
So, no different in my business. We educate attorneys on what they should expect if they should decide to partner with us, because it's generally going to be an 18-month process before you start seeing some real results. Look, I'm finding a lot of firms right now that have been TV advertisers 15, 20, 30 years that are now coming to us and layering on the radio, because buying television today is harder and harder. Don't know if you saw, I did a video yesterday. 75 to 80% of people 18 to 34 years old still listen to the radio, to regular radio. Under 25% watch TV. Now, there's all kinds of OTT streaming television, but there's Hulu, there's Netflix, there's HBO, there's ESPN, there's this one, there's the... I asked the attorney yesterday I was on the phone with, I said, how much do you spend a month on streaming services? I don't know. I said, let's do the math real quick. $490 a month. That's crazy. But for any advertiser today, forget law, anybody, It is not what it was like 40 years ago when there were 3 TV networks and there were 10, 20 cable channels?
Yeah.
Now anybody, look at YouTube, look at TikTok, look at all this stuff. There's so much out there for the world to look at.
Right.
So if you're going to put content out for people, nobody wants to learn about how the case is going to be handled. They want to know who you are authentically. They want to know that you're a family guy. They want to know that you care.
Mm-hmm.
We see day after day after day attorneys sitting at their desk with a coat and tie on. If you should be hurt in an accident, first call 911. Then you should call me. And let me explain to you what's going to... Nobody gives a shit, because you know what? 2% of the people need a personal injury attorney today. 98%...
Just that, yeah.
98% just want to know your name and what you do. Because the rest is blah, 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 blah. until you need somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Watch this. What's the last item you purchased because of an ad?
Ooh, I'm hard to sell to, Gary. I think a book recently that I saw. If you don't see, that's where the branding is helpful. You have to be there, right? That's why I believe in billboards. Everyone's like, oh, early, burns to the brain. But then when they need me, they need me.
Your brand
Yeah,
is all you have.
absolutely. It takes a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of patience, a lot of work. And I really believe more than anything, authenticity. Like I'm not trying to be, nor do I want to be Top Dog. Like he's a different cat than me. I'd be a fraud. Just like he'd be a fraud if he was trying to be Early. Like you can't be fraudulent, man. Like and equally, you can't sit there with a shirt and tie and say, Gary, here are 3 things to do. No one cares. Help people out. But be interesting. Be an interesting human being.
How many years how old is your firm? How many years?
About 20 years in.
20
Feels like
years.
70.
Okay. So watch this. We're going to go back 20 years. You already know what you know. And I said to you, Chris, I'm going to give you $1.2 million right now. Would you put it in the stock market or would you invest it in your firm?
Oh, I'm my firm. Not even close call. Not even close call.
So for anybody out there, invest in yourself because you get to control your own destiny. And if you take care of people and you do good work, you will win. And what is a win? Everybody's win is different. It doesn't always have to be financial. I'm sure you've helped people where you didn't make a lot of money, but my God, you felt really good that you got to help that person.
Because I would do it for that, but Gary, it's going to come back to it. That lawyer you talked to, you referred to Chad Dudley, he's going to, like I said, come back to you. Like it's the way it works. Like but it's almost like aggravating how easy it is. But I would be real with you. Like a lot of lawyers don't get it. Like I'm not some master at this, but I do try to just be myself. I'm like, I really don't care if you don't like it, because you don't want everyone to like you. You don't even want that. That's like the end. Like you want naysayers. You think John Morgan was everyone to love John Morgan? Hell no. It's good to have some people who don't like you.
There's a new brand that I have started purchasing their clothing, and everybody knows me as the loud shirt radio guy. But I saw an ad on Instagram, and the shirt, it was a Lululemon shirt, so it's one of the brands that I like.
Love that stuff.
And it says, "Be a good person." I wore that down in Chicago, and I get a lot of compliments on my shirts.
I know.
I never got more compliments than I got for the shirt I was wearing that said, "Be a good person." Because what a message that is.
Yeah. Who can not like that? Like, what are they going to fight you on that? Like, how can they not agree with you? And as an aside, my wife just bought me a bunch of Lululemon stuff. I'm all about Lululemon. They all have a nice positive image inside. It said, like, "Make today a great day," on the label. I'm like, freaking genius. Talk about how you make people feel. I felt good putting that shirt on.
I don't know if you noticed, but every email says, "Make today great."
Yes. Oh, you got a tat? No kidding. On your right bicep. I love
today
that.
Great.
I love
But
that.
I believe it. And I have another one that's positive over negative.
You just can't show that one.
It's on the other side.
Yeah, okay.
It's here too.
Okay. All right.
But those have meaning to me, and I was scared to do this. But both of them have a meaning to me.
Yeah.
And when I sat down scared with this guy, he's like, "Oh, you want it in your bag?" I'm like, "No, I want to be able to see it. It's not for anybody else. It's for
Yeah.
me."
Yeah.
And I've gotten some great things said, and I had somebody that broke down into tears when they saw it.
Holy smokes, man.
But you got to be your authentic self. Back to the beginning. You want to be a great lawyer in a great law firm? Be yourself, do what's right, and think about them first. You will win.
100% every single time. Last question. How did the finger point come about?
So you know our good friend Jen Gore?
Sure, I just saw her last week. Yeah.
So she turned her video camera on at Mardi Gras last year as I was walking in. And I'm like, "What are you recording me for, Jen?" She goes, "I have a question for you." I'm like, "Okay. Why do you point in all of your pictures?" And you ready?
Yeah.
It's about you, not
I
me.
love it. That's good. That's good.
And I really do run my business that way.
No, I know.
Because if I take care of you the best that I can, it is going to come back to me.
100%. Tenfold, 10x.
Was I always like that? No,
Same.
no. I've learned from so many mistakes that I made in my personal and professional life.
Oh, I'm with you there, man.
And yeah, I'm going to be 60 next year.
Oh, you look good for 60, man. That's wonderful. Fantastic.
Well, I learned that I'm not old enough to be your father when you said you're 48.
That'd be weird, yeah.
But you know, it's what drives me today is different than what drove me
1000%.
when I was younger. And you know, I can't wait to hear what my son has to say, having listened to this whole conversation.
Poor guy.
Well, look, I hope he learns some more about me. I hope he learns some stuff from you. And I hope he learned that being an attorney where his clients are going to need to come first. It's not, and he's going to construction law. So he's going to be a billable attorney.
Mhm.
It's not about the hours. It's about doing what's right. Now, his boss might say it's about the hours. I don't know. I don't know his boss.
Be a good person, help people out. You do those things, I think you're going to do okay, right? Be bold, take risks, be a good person, help people out. Success is inevitable. That's what I believe.
Watch this. What does Nike say?
Just do it, baby.
Just do it. It's a tagline. Now, let's go back. Before we hang up here, I'm going to go back to the branding stuff again
Please.
and tell you why brand is so important. What's the best sneaker in the world?
Nike.
Nike. Is that the brand you wear?
Not currently, because I'm old. But I've worn plenty. I don't know if you read Shoe Dog. It's a story of Phil Knight, who started Nike. He had every reason to quit, Gary. Every reason to pack it up. But that crazy mother effer kept going and going and going. So I encourage everyone, read Shoe Dog. Learn about the Nike origin story. It's a beautiful story. But just nothing remarkable about this guy. Just a smart guy. A little bit of luck. You know, we all need that. But boy,
Hustle.
it was there hustling.
So watch this. Have you ever gone to a podiatrist to have your foot measured and be told what you should be wearing?
Oh, no, I know you should.
Okay, watch this. What's the best computer?
Well, I like my Windows HP personally.
But again, you probably have not sat down with a computer engineer who told you what would be best for your business.
For sure.
Marketing. So I also am a Windows guy.
Yeah.
I bought an Apple because of all the marketing.
Mm.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I sold it to somebody else. But I have no idea what the best sneaker is. I have no idea what the best computer is. And you know what else I don't know? I don't know what the best law firm is.
I know. People don't know either, man. They don't know.
Now, how many lawyers work in your firm?
3 lawyers right now.
3 lawyers.
Yep.
You and 2 others.
Yes.
Now, let's go a step further to Morgan & Morgan, who has
A couple.
1,000 lawyers. Let's say 1,000 lawyers across the country.
Yeah.
Whatever the number is. Do you know what people don't say when they call
Hey, it's John.
Earley or Morgan? I want to speak to your best lawyer. Because you know who they think they're getting? You.
Yeah, John.
Or John. Or Dan. Or the other 2 brothers.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who they're really going to work with. So the marketing, your firm, call Earley before it's too late. ChrisEarley.com. But
You know my stuff.
How many get to speak to you?
Not a lot. I can't do what I do if I talk to every. I'd work 18-hour days.
You hire great people who are going to do great work. You care. But the only time you really speak to a client is if there's an issue or if there's a great settlement where you get to present the check.
Correct. Yeah.
Marketing works. Your brand matters. So the other takeaway, be a good person, but brand the shit out of yourself.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I know we're running out of time, but you could do this, Gary. You get on TikTok, you go on Instagram, LinkedIn. You haven't spent $1. You could brand the hell out of yourself. If you're willing to do that ugly work, consistent work, showing up, not really caring, just pressing send. And just a little social media trick I want to share is when I'm really uncomfortable, like, should I share this? What happens? That content pops every single time. You got to be a little bit different. Like Shoe Dog, like Nike, like John Morgan. You got to be top dog. You got to be freaking different. And have
I just started a YouTube channel, and I'm grateful that I now have 16 followers. 16.
Hey, keep going.
And you know what the goal is? 20. And then from 20, it'll be 30. But I keep putting content out, and I've never done YouTube before. Everything was Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn.
You're starting. Yeah.
I said I'll try something new. And I might launch a podcast as well.
What the hell are you waiting for, man?
I might be doing it with somebody in your market.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. I'd like to get on that because I have no competitors. I'm friends. I don't compete.
You're in the same damn building and you still haven't met him.
No, we met. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
you finally met?
Yes, finally. Yeah, saw him recently again. Yes.
By the way, he's got the best hair in legal.
Oh, it's legendary. Those locks are flowing with glorious abundance.
Chris, first, I truly appreciate our friendship, but this was fun. I enjoyed this. It was very different than most of the podcasts that I go on.
I'm happy, man. I know you're a bright, shining light in the space of a lot of boredom, right? But it's nice to see you, your shirt, your personality popping. So I appreciate you and what you're doing to the profession and bettering the profession. So keep your foot on the gas. I love it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. That's it for the Earley Show. Hey, I'm so sorry, Gary. Real quick. How can people get in touch with you? I'm so sorry. I forgot.
All right. So I am on Instagram, Facebook, Gary Sarner, ROI 360 plus, PLUS, not with the plus sign because they don't allow it. But my cell phone number, and I answer my phone, is 954-560-6371. If you have a question about anything, I will help you. There is no charge to have a conversation.
I appreciate it. Make sure you hit up Gary. Gary, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thanks, everybody. That's it for this episode of The Earley Show. Be sure to check out more episodes on our show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Answering Legal YouTube channel.